You good, Karen? Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Natali Student Center for today's news conference. My name is Matthew Kiefer. I'm the Sports Information Director here at California University. We'll open today's event with an announcement of a new head football coach from Athletic Director Dr. Karen Herpy, followed by a welcome from Interim University President Geraldine Jones. Following their comments, the new Vulcan head football coach will make his remarks before answering a few questions from the media in attendance. Additionally, we would like to recognize Vice President of Student Affairs, Nancy Pinardi, who's also here in attendance with us today. Please note, there will be time following the news conference for additional interviews and photo requests at the table over there. At this time, I'd like to introduce and welcome Athletic Director Dr. Karen Herpy for the announcement of the new head football coach.
Thank you. Good afternoon. And California University is proud to announce that our next head football coach is Gary Dunn. So if you can give Gary a round of applause. We would also like to welcome his wife, Melissa, and his daughter, Sydney, back to the Vulcan Athletic family as well. They're sitting in the front row. So to tell you a little bit about Gary, Gary's a graduate of Seton LaSalle High School and began his career playing with the Vulcans in 1991. He was a 4-year starter and an all-conference player at center. Having received both a bachelor's degree and master's degree from Cal U, Gary moved into the role of student assistant coach in 1994-95 and then to graduate assistant from 1995 to 1997. He left Cal U having completed both a bachelor's in political science degree and a master's in geography and regional planning. From there, Gary moved to Morehead State where he would fill the role of offensive line and tight ends coach and also special teams coordinator. He was elevated to the role of offensive coordinator in 1999, a position he held until December of 2009. Then in January 2010, Gary moved on as the offensive coordinator at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. And this past season, Dunn was instrumental in the 8-3 regular season record and the advancement in the NCAA Division I FCS playoffs. Coach Dunn is committed to Cal U's football program and the institution. He has a strong plan in building a foundation for developing student athletes on the playing field and in the community, a commitment to academic success, building alumni relations, and fundraising. In fact, after speaking with him last night, he has already hit the ground running, so to speak. We are excited to have Coach Dunn on board and look forward to watching his team play this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Herpy. Now please welcome Interim University President Geraldine Jones, who will make a few comments.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here as we welcome Coach Gary Dunn, how did I get that, back to his alma mater as the head coach of our Vulcan football program. Our committee conducted a wide-ranging search, and I believe they found a coach who will lead our football program to a bright future. As you heard, Coach Dunn is a former student and a former graduate assistant with the Cal U football program, so he knows our university well. But what impressed me most is his overall coaching philosophy and his total commitment to student athletics. Coach Dunn looks at his players holistically. He is concerned for every aspect of their development. He wants his players to perform well, not only on the field, but in the classroom too. He expects them to represent the university in an outstanding manner, both on and off campus. Coach Dunn wants his players to use their talents, to support one another as teammates, and yes, to compete effectively and to win. I am confident that Coach Dunn will work hard every day to lead the Vulcan football program toward those goals. Our players have set their sights on winning a PSAC and national championship, and this coach, Coach Dunn, shares their vision. But there's another aspect of Coach Dunn's philosophy that impressed me. He is committed to preparing his players for life after their college sports careers are done. He believes in connecting young athletes with role models by showing them how to use their team-building skills to become leaders, not just in sports, but in their professions and in their communities. This is the right approach for our student athletes and for our university. So this is a new day for the California University football program, and I, for one, am looking forward with great excitement to the days ahead. Welcome, Coach Gary Dunn.
Tall enough for me. Thank you. Good afternoon. I appreciate you taking the time to come out and join us. I'd like to thank President Jones, Dr. Pinardi, Dr. Herpy, and the entire search committee for allowing me this opportunity. It was a great process to go through, very professional, very thorough, and I really appreciate the time. I'd like to thank my wife and daughter, the ultimate coaches family. Been doing this for a long time, and you got to have the support of a great family to be able to spend the time that I'm going to spend with our players, the time that I'm going to spend at this university, in the community. You got to have a great family that's going to support you to do that, and I've got the best, so that's awesome. To the alumni, during this process, I reached out to a lot of people. I had a lot of alumni reach out to me. Coach Petrucci, who recruited me here, I got players in the room, I think, so many years ago, Coach Petrucci recruited me here, and I talked with him at length through this process and actually spoke with him again this morning. Pete Galamus, Terry O'Shea, and several other alumni that reached out for me to the search committee during this process and the administration. We've got some alumni in the room, guys that I played with that I notified this morning and made the trip in, and I appreciate them being here. It's great to come home. This has been a dream of mine since I got into coaching, to come back to California University and lead this program. Extremely excited to do it. To all alumni, this program is going to be open to you guys at all times. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to get guys back involved. We're going to get guys involved in the programs, coming to our games, coming to our practices, to mentor our student athletes, to make them better players, to make them better people, and hopefully brighter futures when they get out into the workforce. I'm excited to be back at California University. I have a lot of relationships that I've built, and I've seen some people that I haven't seen for a number of years already today on campus. I built relationships through my time here and have stayed in touch with people since I graduated. So I think the transition for me is going to be seamless. Excited to be a part of the university community, excited to be a part of the borough of California and the entire Mon Valley. This is a place that we're going to call home. We're not just visitors, we actually live here, so it's going to be great to be a part of the community. To the players in the room, excited to have you guys here. Excited to get to work with you guys. We've got a lot of work to do in a short time to do it. I told the guys when I met them during the interview process, I know exactly what they're going through. After my sophomore year here on campus, we had a coaching change. Coach Petrucci had retired, and they were bringing in a new coach, and I was actually one of the student athletes on the committee that got to interview the head coach. So I know what they're going through. I know it's an anxious time for them, but we're going to do it the right way. I'm going to ask you guys to do some things maybe you haven't done in the past, but we're going to do it the right way. And the thing that I'll tell you is you're not going to find a guy that's going to get outworked. I'm going to outwork everybody in the league, and you're not going to find a guy that's going to care more about you guys as people than I do. I'll do anything I can for you, and I'm here for you at all times. To the student body, if we have any students in here, excited to be your football coach. I want you involved in the program. We're going to try and get you out to a spring practice as soon as we can. We need you involved in the program. We want you to be proud of our program. Like I said, we're going to build relationships with the student body and the community, but excited to have the student body involved in our program. We need your help. When we bring student athletes and recruits onto campus, we want you guys to speak well of our football program. We want you to come to practice. We want you, obviously, to pack Addison Stadium and come to our games. and I'm excited to be your football coach. It's great to be home. A chance to come back here where I went to school. Couldn't be happier, couldn't be more excited, and we're going to hit the ground running this afternoon. I'm going to meet with hopefully with the players this afternoon, with the assistant coaches that are here, and I'm just excited to be home. Thank you.
Thank you for attending today's news conference. At this time, we'll take about 5 minutes here for some media to ask some questions, and we'll open the floor later on for me to have extended interviews at the table. And before you leave, there will also be documents on the back table by the 2 football jerseys on your way in, both about Coach Dunn and also the upcoming 2016 season. So any media first question? Bruce.
Sure. First thing is I want to recruit the right people, Bruce. I want to recruit the right students for the right reasons to California University. We're going to recruit good people, and we're going to recruit good students. The second thing about recruiting is we're going to try and build a base, first of all, in the Mon Valley. I'm going to recruit the Mon Valley myself, and I've already tried to reach out to some of the local high school coaches here. We're going to recruit Western Pennsylvania. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and during my 20 years, I've recruited the WPIAL at every stop I've been in Western Pennsylvania. So the big thing is try and stay home, and then obviously expand throughout the state after that. But we want to recruit to Mon Valley, we want to recruit to WPIAL, and really the whole state of PA after that. But we're going to recruit the right fit to the university, guys that we can be proud of, guys that are going to be good teammates for our guys, and guys that are going to do it the right way.
Creighton.
Coach, you had you look at last year up at Duquesne, your Dukes led the conference in both on rushing yards and passing yards per game. Will your philosophy here at Cal be a similar methodology, like a more balanced attack than what we've seen the past few years?
Yes, we strive for balance. I think coaches are too good, student athletes are too good to say, hey, we're going to run the ball 100% of the time or throw the ball. We strive for balance, and each game it's different. There are some games at Duquesne this year that we ran the football extremely well. Other games we had to throw it. So we're going to thrive for balance. We're going to be able to do both effectively, and we're going to move the football and score points by doing it. But yeah, we want to be as balanced as possible. At Duquesne, we've always been a big play offense, and whether that's handing it to a tailback or throwing it to a wideout, those are the things we're going to strive to do.
Additional questions?
You guys are taking it easy on me. I like it.
Oh, we'll get you later. So, again, thank you everybody for your attending today's news conference. And again, there's materials on the back about the 2016 schedule and also Coach Dunn. Thanks again.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, I think it's about educating the young men. We're gonna promote positive behavior at every turn that we have, and we're going to educate our guys on how to make good decisions. I think it's when you promote positive behavior and you're going to care as much about the guys that I'm going to, I think they're going to understand it. We've got to build leadership from day one. That's what I'm going to talk to the players about here in a minute, is so when situations do happen, that we have enough leaders to step in and really take care of it. But we're going to recruit. I'm going to recruit kids that are quality kids, and I'm going to get to meet their families. I'm going to get to know their families, and we're going to try and do it the right way to make this institution, this community, and the Mon Valley proud of us.
Coach, what goes into recruiting in Western Pennsylvania? Some of the concerns I'm hearing from other coaches around the league is the population declines in this part of the state. So obviously, you stated that you're looking to recruit first in the valley, and then how much are you going to extend west towards, say, Lancaster, Philadelphia area, and districts 1 and 3?
As far as we need to. When we've done our homework, and we're going to start early on the guys in the valley. We're going to start early on Western Pennsylvania, and then if we have to expand out after that, then that's what we'll do. But we're going to do our homework, and every kid that's a local kid or a WPIAL kid that we should know about them and trying to get them on campus. And How far are we going to expand? I don't know. It depends on how many guys we can get out of the Valley and how many guys we can get from Western Pennsylvania. And, I've experienced recruiting Ohio. I've recruited Ohio for the last 12 years, Cleveland, Columbus. So, if we've got to throw a wider net to attract the kind of kids and the quality kids and the type of kids we want, then we'll do that. But we're going to start at home.
Is it challenging in a way because you look at, it's not just Cal, you have, not just within the PSAC with IUPs looking around Clarion, but you also have obviously Duquesne, Robert Morris, St. Francis out in Loretto.
Sure.
A lot of, as one of the former coaches said, that you got a lot of stops in between, say, even within Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's competitive, but I've never shied away from anything competitive. So we've got a great institution. We've got great people to sell. We've got great facilities. So it's not going to be difficult for us to attract quality guys. And if those other schools that you're talking about are recruiting them, then we're on the right guys. And we're going to be in battles. At Duquesne, we were in battles. And you got to win. You got to win those battles. You got to put your best foot forward.
Coach, what are the steps you're going to take to get this team back in the forefront of the PSAC and the region?
That's a great question. Are you with the Cal U Times? CUTV. Just doing it the right way. We're going to build relationships on campus. We're going to build a culture. I'm as competitive guy as you ever met. We're going to compete in everything that we do. From the first day I hit the weight room to conditioning to spring ball, every drill that we do, everything that we do, we're going to have a competitive nature. And I just want guys that want to play ball and just want to do it the right way and compete for every second.
Did they tell you how many scholarships you'll have to work with?
They did. I don't know the number off the top of my head right now. I've got
higher or lower than last year?
I do not know. I don't know what they did last year.
And can you talk a little bit about the timing and recruiting? And did you think you needed to get in before signing day was upon us?
I would have liked to because I've actually been traveling around recruiting for Duquesne University. I was in Ohio 2 days ago trying to finish up a prospect there that we had committed. At the end of the day, yeah, it would have been great to be in before signing day. It's a time, but that's something we're going to have to overcome. We're not going to make excuses about it. There's still probably plenty of good players out there that we've got to go try and attract and find. We're not going to make excuses about that signing day's this Wednesday. But obviously it would have been better if we were a little earlier.
What's the protocol on something like that if you're recruiting for Duquesne and you get a head coaching position at Cal?
I actually called all the guys that I personally recruited last night and told them what was going to happen today. And I told them that one of the other assistant coaches would be in touch with them tonight. And I told them they picked a great school, a great university, a great coach, and they need to stick with it. A couple of them I'd have liked to brought with me, to be honest with you, because they're really good players. But they understand. And they were I built such great relationships with those kids over the last 6 months. They were excited for me and excited for this opportunity. Every one of them said, "Coach, that's awesome. Congratulations. Happy for you and your family." So recruiting is about building relationships, and I think I can do that as well as anybody.
What kind of a coach are you? Are you on offense? Are you a run-oriented, pass-oriented? Are you a defensive kind of guy?
We're going to be balanced. And I guess the best way to answer that question is I've got to see the players we have here. I'm not going to try and say we're going to run this offense, and I haven't met the guys yet and watched any film on them. We're going to play to our players' strengths. When you're balanced and you can run multiple formations, multiple sets, multiple personnel groups, we're going to play to our strengths. This first year, until we can start getting recruits in, and we're going to be very balanced, but we're going to play to our strengths. I've been coaching a long time. If I've got great tight ends, we're going to use tight ends. If I got great tailbacks, we're going to use tailbacks. I mean, like I said, I'm as competitive as anybody. We want to win now. I ain't worried about down the road.
Consider yourself more of a high school recruiter or JC type guy when you bring guys in?
Yeah, when we have to. I would like to build the program strictly through high school kids. But there are those years when you may have an immediate need that you need to address. And if you can find the right kid and a quality kid, whether it's a junior college or potentially somewhere else, then you have to do that if you're finding the right fit.
How are you going to keep the players recruited from previously with Coach Keller interested in the program?
Well, hopefully I'm going to meet with them here today, and I'm going to sell myself to them. I met with them once already during the interview process. They had an opportunity to interview, I guess, all the coaches, but I met with them once. I've told them my vision. I'm going to meet with them personally starting Monday and Tuesday, and I'm going to sell them on how we're going to do it and the way it's going to be. I think we're going to have great alumni support. If you guys know Todd Hurt, Todd was a quarterback here in the early 90s. We've got another one of my former teammates that's here. So, I'm going to sell them on how we're going to do it, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Coach, just got a couple quotes from Jerry Schmidt of Duquesne. The quote here: Gary made his impact on our program by leading a highly productive offense and mentoring our young coaches to be effective players, effective teachers, and efficient recruiters. Gary is deserving of this next step in his career, and we wish him all the best. How much does it mean to you to have that kind of support from Jerry?
Unbelievable. Coach Schmidt is a class act in every sense of the word. When I went there, I became a lot better coach working for Coach Schmidt, and he taught me quite a bit about being a head coach because he knew this was the next step for me. I had been an offensive coordinator for, you guys got the numbers, I don't know how many years, but he really helped me prepare to become a head coach.
With the 4 assistant coaches kind of on the low side, does that present a problem in preparing a team?
No. That's what I got, right? So, no. We're going to figure some things out, but
do you have some grad assistants?
I haven't finalized how we're going to do it yet, but we're not going to be concerned with what we don't have. We're going to be excited about what we have, and so I'm not worried about it.
And in that regard, what in your view is the strength of this team and the weakness of this team?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really know them yet. I've tried to do as much homework as I can. The search committee did a great job of keeping everything pretty quiet and pretty tight around here. So I've talked to some people. I've obviously talked to the coaches on the staff, and they're excited about the guys coming back. I've talked to some coaches in the area about guys that are here. But I don't really know strengths and weaknesses yet. That's something we've got to find out, and hopefully, meet with the players today and start building that relationship. And my wife's probably not going to want to hear it, but I'm probably going to be watching a lot of film in the next 48 hours. She's probably not going to see me much. So, we'll see once we get down the road a little bit, I guess.
Did you know Mike Keller very well?
I didn't know him real well. I knew him to say hello. I knew him, it's funny. If we had an open week at Duquesne, I came up here and watched some ball games. So I know the kind of program and the kind of kids they had. I wasn't able to make one this year, but I did catch a game last year. So, I know he did a great job. I mean, they were 8-3 and right on the cusp of the playoffs. And so I know the cupboard's not bare. I know that.
And when the opening came, who championed your application? Did anybody speak for you? Or
a lot of alumni guys reached out. It hadn't even officially opened yet, and I had guys reaching out to me asking me if I was going to apply and if I was going to be involved. No, from alumni. Yeah, from alumni. I've built relationships and stayed close with a lot of guys over the years, and I had guys reaching out to me before I even knew it was official. So I had a lot of alumni involved, making calls on my part. I talked to Coach. I don't know how long you've been around here. I talked to Coach Petrucci a number of times, and again talked to him this morning. So a lot of guys were, and I wouldn't want to name one or two because I had a lot of guys involved, in trying to get me this position.
In your interview process, did you feel pretty positive that you made an impression on?
I did. I think my love for this university shows. The fact that a chance to come home. I think they saw what this place means to me.
You mentioned when you were a student, you were involved in the interview process, I believe, for Kevin.
Yeah, when they hired Kevin Dunn, yes, sir.
Yes. Kind of came full circle.
It has.
You're on the other side of the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you make an analogy? What was it like that? Like being on the other side of the table.
I know for those guys it was nerve-wracking because you don't know. Anytime uncertainty hits you and you're not sure of what's going to happen, what's your position, is this guy going to run an offense that I like? Is this guy going to run a defense that suits my strengths? It's uncertainty. And sometimes for young kids that's hard to deal with, and that's how I felt. But then and now I think they hired the right coach. You know, and I'm just excited to get started and get to meet these guys.
Coach, is there a comparison that you can make, say, between the style of play in the Northeast Conference compared to the PSAC? I mean, I know it's different levels, but are there similarities or differences that stand out at you?
Probably very similar. You know, I know in the Northeast Conference, every week is a battle. You know, and probably a few years ago it wasn't that case, but it's a really balanced league right now. And I think the PSAC is very similar. Obviously, you got your top-end teams with hopefully Cal. You know, I know IUP's always loaded. Slippery Rock has won the league in the past couple years. So it's a conference similar to the Northeast that you got to show up every week and you got to play. And you know, I followed Cal every week. You know, even after we played, or you know, on the bus ride home or the flight home, whatever it might have been, to check the scores. You know, I know Seton Hill's gotten a lot better, and there's a lot of really good football coaches in this league that do a great job recruiting. So, you know, I'd say that's probably pretty similar.
How many times have you interviewed for a coaching position?
You're the tough one in this crowd, aren't you?
Just the oldest, that's all. I've had a couple other opportunities. One that I didn't feel good about and I pulled myself out. And another one that probably wasn't the best fit for us, me and my family, at the location of it. So I have had opportunities, and you know, it's exciting because this is the job I've always wanted.
My last question, Coach. I mean, right now, I know it's still early in the off season, but they haven't had a week 1 game yet. Is that something that's going to be on your radar screen?
Yeah, if we can find the right opponent. Yeah, you know, and I've talked briefly with the athletic director about it. You know, and it was more during the interview process. So that's something that we're going to be open to if we can find the right one.
I was told that you met with some players during the interview.
I did, yeah.
Was that the first time that's happened in the interview process for you, where you met with players?
No, that's pretty common. The different thing about it was I met with more here than anywhere else. And like I said, when I was a player here, I was the one on the committee. It's typically an 8 to 10 player committee that, you know, meets with the coaches. Here, I think I was in a room with probably 40 or 45 guys, so it was a little bit different. But it was good to meet them. It was good for more of them. You know, when I did it as a player, we had to go back to the whole team and explain what we liked. I think the process here was good because those guys can formulate their own opinion of me.
What did you guys talk about?
Just my vision for the program, and you know, I talked to them for a little while at the beginning about my vision of the program, who I am, where I've been, what I plan to do, and then the second part I fielded questions from those guys, which was, you know, a little bit different than the questions you get from anybody else. So.
How did their questions compare to the questions you asked so many years ago when you were on the
Very similar. Yeah. You know, they wanted to know about style of play, you know, and they wanted to know about discipline, you know, and things like that. They did it. You know, the players did a tremendous job. I walked away impressed after meeting with them because the questions they asked were the right questions. You know, they weren't selfish questions. They were about building a team. A lot of their questions were about how can you make us successful, and you know, that was encouraging.
We've got time for a couple more, and we got Coach ready for his meeting with the team. So,
What part of Pittsburgh are you from? Because I know it says you're from the city.
Yeah, I grew up in South Hills. Grew up in Beachview.
Okay.
Yeah, which is on the other side of the Liberty Tunnels, if you're familiar with that. And then
Like coming out the tubes, and then
as soon as you come straight out of the tubes from Pittsburgh, that's you go.
Like where Brashear High is, that area?
I grew up a couple blocks from there.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? Great to meet you guys.